Ladies and gentlemen, that was the ruling. And Gachagua was to be compensated Kenya shilling 50 million simply because the Senate erred. Kwa sababu haki yake haikuzingatiwa na the Senate. But that is not what Gachagua had gone to do. He is not going to look for money. Alikuwa anataka haki. But we know that he's going to appeal, and the journey is wrong, and is likely to go all the way up to even 2030. If you look at the time he was impeached and the time the ruling was made, then you can imagine the same time taken in the Court of Appeal, then the Supreme Court. It's going to be a journey, but that is not the discussion here, because we leave that one to the lawyers to do their work. Now, let us look at Fred Okengo Matiang'I, Civil Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Natebea, and Rigathi Gachagua, and who is likely to get the support of this, or the majority of this, because the agreement is all of them must agree. Who is this agreeable candidate? Because according to me, it is not Fred Okengo Matiang'I. According to me, it is not Eugene Wamalwa. It is not Martha Wangari Karua. It is Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. I'm looking at Gachagua. Gachagua is likely to support Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. My reason is because when you look at Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka, they seem to be very close. They seem to have a very good rapport compared to Rigathi Gachagua and Fred Okengo Matiang'I, compared to Eugene Wamalwa and others. So when you look at the relationship between Kalonzo Musyoka and Gachagua, you realize that Gachagua can throw the weight behind Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So you see, he will get Gachagua's vote. But I'm sure Kalonzo cannot support Rigathi Gachagua. That's a fact. And number two, I'm looking at the relationship between Eugene Wamalwa and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Eugene Wamalwa most likely is going to support Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and not Gachagua and not Matiang'I. Hata ukiangalia jana wakati ambapo wakutana wote wakienda kuangalia matokeo ya the ruling of the High Court, it tells you that these guys are very, very close. And they have held meetings in the past without Fred Okengo Matiang'I. Somehow when you look at it, Kalonzo is now also ticking the box. He's having the vote of Eugene Wamalwa. Then you add his own vote. Those are 3 votes. What about Fred Okengo Matiang'I? Fred Okengo Matiang'I can only get the support of Martha Wangari Karua and his vote. Those are 2 votes. And Martha Karua maybe can only get the support of Gachagua and Matiang'I and her vote. Those are 3 votes. Then come Natebea. Natebea is also going to play a major role. And also Sifuna is also going to play a major role. I'm sure these guys cannot agree to support Edwin Sifuna. They cannot. Because you see, Team Leader Mwananchi is a different entity. And the united opposition is another one. So the only thing they can offer to Sifuna or Team Leader Mwananchi is that of the running mate. Is he going to accept? Is Team Leader Mwananchi going to accept? And one thing that is very clear is that Team Leader Mwananchi has not declared that it's going for the presidency. They haven't. They have been campaigning. Sifuna has not said that it's going for the presidency. And I want somebody here to show me in one time that Sifuna has put it in black and white, like Kalonzo Musyoka, Gachagua and others, that is going for the presidency. That means he's likely to settle for that position of the running mate. And Sifuna, I'm sure Sifuna is not going to support Gachagua. And Gachagua, not that he's bad, but they fear him. Most of these guys fear him. It's only that they don't say it. Sifuna is ready to support Civil Kalonzo Musyoka. And that is how Civil Kalonzo Musyoka is ready to get more votes than Mother Karua. Because of Sifuna. The reason why Kalonzo you get Sifuna's vote is because they have worked together in ODM. They have worked together in Azimio. And Sifuna was very, very close to Raila Odinga. Kalonzo was his running mate. And they used to plan together. They used to work together. They used to campaign together. And this one tells you that he has a lot of trust for Civil Kalonzo Musyoka. So when you look at it, truth be told, Kalonzo emerged the winner. Kalonzo is a compromise candidate. And again, when you look at Mother Karua would not have much problem with Civil Kalonzo Musyoka. Only that she would prefer Fred Okengo Matiang'I. Now, what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? When you look at Gachagua, why Gachagua is not going to support Matiang'I is because of Jubilee. A strong Jubilee is a big loss to DCP. The support base of Jubilee is Mount Kenya. The support base of DCP is Mount Kenya. So how do you support your opponent? And that is how. Because you see, supporting Fred Okengo Matiang'I as a presidential candidate, Gachagua will be weakening his own party. Who does that, ladies and gentlemen? And it's going to make Matiang'I very, very attractive and even attract many candidates to vie using Jubilee. So that way, he cannot do it because of the competition in the mountain. So it's like a situation where Matiang'I is weakened. The other reason is because of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has a lot of influence in the mountain. And if Matiang'I is a presidential candidate, it means Gachagua will be overshadowed. He'll be overshadowed by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Currently, when you look at it, Rigathi Gachagua is the kingpin of the mountain. He's the most popular politician in Kenya today. He's the most popular politician in the mountain. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, although his word is respected, you realize that watu wengi wamekuwa wakimfuata Rigathi Gachagua. That is why DCP has grown in leap and bound. The other reason is because of the history of Matiang'I and Kalonzo, not a very good one. The history of Gachagua and Matiang'I, not a very good one. And even Mother Karua. So what this means is that majority of these guys, although somehow because of the influence of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Wamalwa can be convinced by Uhuru to support Fred Okengo Matiang'I because, you know, they were together in the cabinet. It can happen. But when I look at the reality on the ground, it is very, very clear that these guys are going to support Civil Kalonzo Musyoka. And the earlier Civil Kalonzo Musyoka unveil his plans and his manifesto, the better. The earlier they agree now, the better. And one thing is very, very clear. Whether impeached or not, Rigathi Gachagua is going to play a major role in 2027 and even in post-2027 general election. He's going to have a big say in the government and in the politics of this nation. He might have lost the battle, but the war is yet to be won. Bye-bye.